Happy New Year, everybody. Netta Nasruddin here, your trainer for today. We are going to get started in just a few minutes, right at the top of the hour. But in the meantime, we have people from everywhere joining us today. So tell us who you are and where you're coming from in the chat. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We're going to go ahead and get started because I want to honor everyone's time. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It is a new year, new goals, new dreams, new accomplishments are on our way for all of us. Now, I don't know about you, but I am ready to make this my best year yet. And I know the team at Rise Up For You is also ready to make this their best year yet. And I know you're with us, and that's why you're here today, because you are also on that same track. So if you're joining us for the first time, my name is Netalina Nasruddin. I'm the CEO of Rise Up For You. And again, today we're going to talk about how to have your best year yet, yours, special for you, customizable for you. Now, in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to break down the 7 steps to achieving your goals, how to achieve your goals without losing your values and your family. That's a big one, right? And the number one culprit that often gets in the way of us taking action and creating the system so that our goals actually come to fruition. We're going to cover all of that in today's masterclass. So I just want to ask you, and you could put it in the chat, how many of you have written goals in the past and you didn't achieve them, right? Maybe you got too busy. Maybe the goals ended up being too difficult. Maybe the goals ended up being out of reach for you, or they were too easy. And we're going to talk about all that a little bit later, but put it in the chat. How many of you guys, yep, I'm seeing it in the chat. You just don't follow them, right? You're ready to go for the new year. You have your goals, you have your accomplishments. You're ready to make things happen. And then a whole year goes by and you realize, I just didn't make it happen. Things came into place. There was other priorities. Maybe I got lost track. Somebody came into my life and kind of disrupted it. Whatever it is, you're not alone. You are not alone. And that's why we're doing this session today. But I want you to stay with me all the way till the end. And here's why. Because the very last strategy that I give you is probably going to be one of the most important. And we always have a special offer for those of you that show up and that stay. Because I always say that starting is easy, but staying and showing up all the way through, that's where the success happens. So when you stay for this entire session, we're going to give you a special offer at the end. So listen, you're not alone. You are not alone. Did you know that 85% of individuals that have goals and set goals don't accomplish them? Only about 15% of individuals actually stick to their dreams and goals and take action and see them come to fruition, right? So there's a lot of reasons why. You can ask yourself, why do I keep creating these goals, but yet I'm not actually achieving them? Where I'm going to break down for you the 3 reasons why. And these might resonate with you. And you might say, yep, that is totally me. First, is they're too challenging or they're too easy. So today, as we go through this strategic roadmap, I want you to jot these notes down and I want you to ask yourself where you are with your goals. Oftentimes we overshoot, we get excited, and we create these goals that are a little bit too large for where we are in our life right now. So I'll give you a quick example, and I always use health just because it's easy. If one of your goals is to work out, maybe to get in shape, maybe to have more energy, but you go to the gym 0 times a week, and now your goal is to get to the gym every day, that's a little bit overstretched. Okay, so we want to create challenging goals, right, that are going to push us, keep us engaged, keep us interested, but not too challenging where we become discouraged and then we lose confidence in our ability to take action. And then we have the opposite where we just make them too easy. And then as we're, working on our goals, we get disengaged and we're not fully experiencing what we want. And then we kind of let them go. That's one of the reasons why many of us lose sight of what we want to accomplish in the new year. The second, and probably one of the most important, is that it's not relevant to your life. It's not relevant to the big picture. And we're going to break this down a little bit later. When creating your goals, when you're ready to have your best year yet, really asking yourself and understanding what's the end goal, right? And we might not have all the answers, but in your life, what do you want? And are these goals relevant to that? Okay. Third mistake that we often see or make is we just don't have a system. We just don't have a system for life, I always say. Just like we have systems for marketing, we have systems for sales, right? We have all of our calendars for our meetings. Some of us are in business, some of us are in corporate, and we're absolutely crushing it because we have business systems. But we also have to have systems for life. And the fourth mistake that we all often make is that we don't write them down. We don't write them down. And so I always say, and a mentor of mine named John Astoraf, which some of you may know, are you interested in your goals and accomplishments, or are you committed? And that simple act of writing them down can be the shift of whether or not they sit on the shelf or whether or not you actually take action. So I know I'm sharing all of this with you. And again, as mentioned, I'm the CEO and founder of Rise Up For You. For those of you that are not familiar, we get the great honor of working with organizations and companies around the world and individuals like yourself to enhance and optimize their culture, their individual potential, and their performance. And we do it all through human skills. So today, talking about achieving your goals and having your best year yet, that's a human skill. These are the interpersonal and interpersonal skills that we need. I like to call them the power skills that actually create success in our life. But here's the thing. 5 years ago, 2018, 2019, as the owner of this company, I wasn't even in this industry. I wasn't even in this radar, right? Rise Up For You. What was Rise Up For You? I was in a completely different industry, in a completely different job. But because of the system that's proven that I'm going to share with you today, in just 4 to 5 years, we've been able to expand this company. I created it with $100, no business degree. We're in over 50 countries with our messaging. We have an awesome team that's still growing. Today, I'm a best-selling author, 2-time TEDx speaker, and we are making the impact in the world that we truly want to make in just a short amount of time because of a system that I was able to implement as I was growing and building, again, with only $100. So for those of you that might say, I have these goals, I have these dreams, but I don't know how to get there, that's what today is for. And we're going to make that happen. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to share my screen with you. Please make sure that you're engaging in the chat. I will take questions at the end because questions are important. And we want to make sure that we can customize this experience for you. So again, today I'm going to share with you the 7 steps to creating your best year yet. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to jump in. And I often like to share my screen because some of us are visual learners, and we want to make sure we have as many methods as possible for you. So that's me, as you can see. So we're going to start with the 3 C's, okay? Clarify, create, and crush. What does that mean? This is a roadmap that I'm going to give you, and there's additional steps that are underneath it. Clarify, create, and crush. Okay, so starting with clarify. This is the number 1 step to make sure you're having your best year this year in 2023, okay? And then we're going to do it again for 2024 and 2025. We're going to keep using this blueprint because I'm telling you it's going to work. So as I'm talking with you, I want you to write all these things down, and I want you to start to explore, where am I going this year? Okay, we're only 11 days into the new year. We got this. We got this, and we're moving and we're going strong. Okay, 5 steps under the first C, the clarify. There's 5 steps. First thing I want you to understand, and we talked about it earlier, okay? What is success for you? What is success for you, and what are the goals that you want to achieve? Okay, so the first step is, what is it that you want? Now, I want to encourage you, for those that are familiar with Rise Up For You, you're familiar with our company, you're familiar with our values and our blueprint. We always talk about the 6 pillars of life, because the reality is that, we don't want to create goals that are just limited to your career, because we know where that gets us, right? 80% of the American population feel miserable and disengaged in their work. That means that we can't just focus on that. So we talk about the 6 pillars of life to create a happy, fulfilling, thriving life on a whole picture. Now, I don't know anybody that doesn't want that, right? On a whole picture, not in just one area. So as you're creating your best year yet, I want you to ask yourself, What do you want in every single pillar? Okay, let me break those down for you. Pillar number one, self-worth. That's just you, the relationship between you and yourself. What do you want in that relationship? Pillar number two, your career. What do you want in your career? What do you want in your business? Do you want to climb the career ladder? Do you want to have this new job title? Do you want a pay raise, right? Do you want to transition? Do you want to build that side hustle or that business that maybe you've always wanted to build? By the way, we're going to be doing a session later on this month on that, right? Because we understand inflation's coming. So a little bit later in the month, I'm going to be teaching you how to build a side hustle. Okay, so look out for that. Number three, romance. What do you want in your romantic relationships between you and your partner? Okay, what goal do you have? Is it in the right spot? Is it fruitful and fulfilling? Or is it a little bit tense right now? What is your goal around that? Pillar number four, your health. Without your health, it's really difficult to achieve your wealth. Okay, many of us spend our whole life building wealth, and then when we retire, guess what happens? All of our money goes to our health. So think about that. What do you want in your health? And when I talk about health, I talk about mental, I talk about physical, and I also talk about nutritional, because all three of those are important. Pillar number five, your relationships in your community, right? Your relationships in your community. Do you have the right people around you? Is the right energy in your space? Do you have a lot of positive relationships, or do you have a lot of drama? How are your work relationships? How are your family relationships? And pillar number six is money. Okay, are you going to bed at night stressed about how you're going to pay your bills, right? Are you living paycheck to paycheck? If you are, you're not alone. The majority of households are living paycheck to paycheck, right? Are you thinking about your financial future? Do you have financial peace and financial freedom? So as we're going through this roadmap of success to make this your best year yet, I'm telling you the best way to do that is to focus on your entire life. So I want you to ask yourself, and of course, you're not going to get this all in today's session, right? You're going to probably, after this session, you're going to write these things down. What do you want in every single area, every single one of those six pillars? Now, here's the key. They need to be smart, okay? Meaning they need to be specific. Specificity is critical. So instead of saying, I want to grow in my career, no, that's not specific enough. Being really, really clear in the next 6 months, I want to walk in and have a conversation with my boss and ask him for a pay raise. And I would like to move into this title of the company. See how clear that is? Specificity is really important. M is for measurable. Can we measure your goal? If we can't measure it with data, how do we know that we achieve it? A is attainable. Remember I talked about that earlier. Is it too difficult? Or is it something that we can attain? It's a stretch goal, not an overstretch, but a stretch goal, meaning it's going to push you. It's going to push you. You're going to take risk. It's going to be uncomfortable, but you can do it. You can do it. R is for relevant. Is this relevant to the big picture in your life? And I'll be honest with you, that R is very important for me because I know where I'm going in my life. I know what I want in my life and I know what my values are. So when people or things come to me that aren't relevant to that big picture, it's really easy for me to say, no, thank you. And T is timely. What's the time and what's the benchmark that we're going to put in order to achieve these goals? It might be a year, it might be 6 months. Okay, so that's your first step is the what. That's a lot of information, right? We could stop right here, but we're not going to. Number 2 is why is this important for you? And oftentimes, I'm sure we're all familiar with Simon Sinek, right? The power of why. Oftentimes we don't really think about why this goal is necessary. But I have clients all the time that come to me and say, I want to be a millionaire. I'm like, why? Well, I don't know, because it's popular. Well, that's not going to help you achieve your goal, right? So you got to know deep down in the core of who you are, why this goal matters to you. Why does this goal really, really matter? And it has to be strong and it has to be deep because that's the only way you're going to achieve it, right? I always find that people, I'm going back to health because again, just an easy thing to reference. When people come to me and say, here's my health goal, I always find that the individual that says, I want to get in shape, I want to lose a little bit of weight, and I want to start, making fitness a priority because my daughter is about to have her first child and I'm going to be a grandparent. they often achieve their goals a lot faster than someone that's like, I want to be able to fit in that size, 7 dress. Okay. So find a real deep reason for every one of those goals as to why you want to achieve it. Step number 3, probably the most important, how are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? We got to have a plan. We have to have a plan. So what are the action steps that you're going to take? And by the way, this is very relevant for business as well. I just did this with my team, right? We had a team retreat in December. What are our goals? Why are they important? And now what's the action step that we have to do on a daily basis to make sure we achieve our what? Because if there's no action plan, well, how are we going to get there, right? Before you know it, the year's going to go by and nothing's been done because the steps to achieve the what were never implemented. Okay. And this is really, really important. For some of us, that might be a little bit difficult, right? You might say, okay, I want to grow my business. I want to double income. Now you might say, how am I going to get there? Right. And that's where you have to find the right strategy to ask yourself, what are the things I have to do? What are the things I have to test? Sometimes we have to test things to make sure we actually achieve the what that we've established for ourselves in the beginning of the new year. Okay. Now we go to step number 4. This is probably one of my favorite. Who's going to help you get there? And let me ask you another question. Who's going to help you get there and who's going to take away from you getting there? I always say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that's actually Jim Rohn, but I always quote him. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, let's be honest. When you're ready to push yourself and to create your best year yet, that means that you got to set yourself up for success. That means you have to set yourself up for success mentally, in your environment, the energies that are in your space. And no man is an island, right? No person is an island. So of course, the more people we have that are supporting us, the better. But guess what? It also works the opposite way too. If you have people in your life that are just not in that space, maybe there's a lot of negativity going on right now. Maybe they can't see the silver lining and they're bringing that energy in with you. It's going to tear you down. It's going to tear you. I just had a session with a client and they're moving and grooving, like they are ready to go. And they just expressed this exact point. They have a really, really close friend. And, now that we're coaching together, there's more self-awareness, right? And they said, I realized like every time I spend time with them, I leave feeling like so negative and discouraged and not confident. And I just don't feel good. And then that impacts you for the rest of the day. It impacts your productivity. It impacts your outlook on life. So who's going to help you achieve your goals? And also, who do we need to maybe create some distance with that's going to take away from you achieving your goals? Now, I never say cut out, right? I don't believe in that. That would be the opposite of rise up for you, right? We're here. People matter. People come first. We're here to push your potential. So I never say like cut people out of your life, but I will say minimize your time with them if they're making an impact on your ability to move forward and to create success in your life. And I have done it many, many times. Okay. And again, not mean about it. Don't cut them out. But there are many times where I say to myself, you know what? I need to create some distance here because I don't feel good in that space and it impacts me. And I don't want that right now. Okay. Now we go to step number 5. No, thank you. No, thank you. What do you have to say no, thank you to in your life so that you can create the success that you want in this new year? What do you have to say? It could be a lot of things. It could be, I have to say no thank you to Netflix. I have to say no thank you to drama on TV. I have to say no thank you to certain people. For me, I'll share with you, I have to say no thank you to keeping my email open. Okay. So for anyone that knows me or maybe that has emailed me, notice I take maybe like a day to get back to you, because I don't leave my email open all day. Because if I do, guess what happens? My actual job role, the description as a CEO to run the business, to work with my clients, those things don't get done because I get sucked into the email trap. How many of us have been there, right? You keep that email open. Before you know it, the whole day went by. You didn't get anything done because you've just been sitting in your email. Okay. So that's what I have to say no thank you to. So I'm really clear. I have it a part of my checklist. I'll answer emails later on in the day, maybe once a day. Okay. Sometimes I don't even get to it. And if it's urgent, my phone number's in the email, they can call me. Okay. So that's what I have to say no thank you to. Otherwise I'm not productive. And then I don't go to where I need to be. So ask yourself, what do you need to say no thank you to? So write this in the chat. What do you need to say no thank you to right now? Just the first thing that comes to mind. It could be limiting beliefs. It could be Netflix. It could be people's drama, whatever it is. I want to see it in the chat. So these are the first 5 steps. This is the clarity step. This is the first thing we need, is being able to clarify first before we start to take action. Okay. What we don't want to do is start running and taking action in all these different directions. And then we get there and we realize, that's not what I wanted, actually. So you spent all that time and effort trying to do these things. And then you get there and realize that that's not what I want. That's not success to me. That's not relevant to the bigger picture, right? And then you feel deflated. And again, you lose confidence in your ability to serve yourself, which is important. Now we're going to move on to the second C. Create a system for your life. Just like I mentioned earlier, this was the biggest epiphany for me, to tell you the truth. When I first started building this company, I realized, okay, I have all of these calendar invites for meetings. I have all of these systems and invites for building the business and creating strategies and sales systems and curriculum. But I'm not going to the gym. I'm not spending time with my, like, all these things were going out the window. And I realized, okay, well, what would happen if I built a system just like I do for the business? When I was an executive, if I have a system just like I had when I was an executive, right? And I got all those things done as a corporate executive. So creating a system for life, it's not silly. It's actually awesome. And sometimes I hear people say, oh, that's so overwhelming. Like, I already have all these calendars for work. But you'll find that when you create a system and a calendar for life, you actually become less overwhelmed. You become less overwhelmed and you start to thrive, because now you're making time for the other things that fill your bucket and that feel great for you. Okay. So golden nugget, I always say, and I will continue to say this, do not be a content consumer, be a content activator. Okay. And the only way you're going to do that is by having a system to activate. Okay. If we don't set ourselves up for success with the right action plan and the right action steps, all you're going to do is consume this masterclass today. And I don't want you to do that. Your success is our success. Okay. And that's why I'm so passionate when I'm talking to you, because what I don't want for this community and what I don't want for you is to watch this masterclass, feel empowered, get all these golden nuggets, and then 6 months from now be in the exact same place because we didn't activate. We didn't activate. Okay. And that's really, that's important for everything that you do. Okay. When you receive information, don't let that information go to waste. Create the steps necessary to take the action in order to see the success. Okay. This is my favorite thing that I do because it's so eye-opening, and it's eye-opening for a lot of people. When I first built this company, as I mentioned, I needed to figure out, okay, I'm building this company, but all of these other things are very important to me because that's the bigger picture of my life. These are my values. Okay. So how do I make it all happen? So I built this time management calendar for the professional. Okay. And I called it the 6 pillars to success calendar, because remember, the 6 pillars is our model, right? Self-worth, career, romance, health and fitness, people intelligence, and money. All of those things are important as we grow our potential in these human skills. So I made this calendar. And here's what I found. Okay. Think about this. There's 168 hours in a week. 168 hours in a week. If you slept 8 hours a day, okay, which most of us don't, but if you do, I get 9 because I love my sleep and it's important. But if you get 8 hours a day, that's 56 hours a week, okay? 168 minus 56 hours is what? It's 112 hours, okay? So let's pretend we have these hours. You're sleeping 8 hours a day. Now we have 112 hours left in the week, okay? Let's say you work, let's make it easy. Let's say you work a 62-hour work week, which is pretty hefty, okay? You're working for 62 hours. you still have 50 hours a week for life, for all the other things in life, to spend time with your family, to spend time on your health, to spend time on you, to get all the little errands and tasks done that we have to get done that are just, Maslow's basics, right? That's a lot of hours that are still left. But yet so many of us go through the day and we're like, where'd my time go? We go through the week. Where'd my time go? We go through the month. Where'd my time go? We go through the year. Where'd my time go? Because we don't have a system that's helping us stay on track to keep us efficient. Now, I'll be really, really honest. I use the system every week. And you can ask my team. Every Sunday, I sit down and I go through this. I start my day at 10 and I end my day at 5. And then all those other hours go to spending time with family, working on my health. I don't even start work before 10. You know what I do before 10? I meditate, I read, I thank God, I go through my gratitude journal, I work out in the morning, I listen to a podcast when I'm getting ready so that I can grow my mind and my brain. Then I jump into work at 10 o'clock, except for special occasions like today where I'm live at 9 a.m. PST time, right? Which happens every now and then. Then I finish my day at 5 o'clock, call my family, spend time with them, go out with friends. Maybe I'll do a second workout to decompress. All of these things are part of that system of life to make you feel great so that you can have your best year yet. So I want you to ask yourself, where is your time going? Okay, create a little system. I do Monday through Sunday, and I break it all down. The first thing you could put is your must-dos. What are the things that have to happen? Okay, and here's a perfect example, right? I just give you a little example of, I put the hours of the day, and then I fill in my entire week with everything, not just work, everything. So I'll go through, I'll put my non-negotiables for work. I'll put the things that I have to get done this week, like maybe it's I need to go to the dentist or I need to pick up little Johnny, whatever it is. And then I'll go through and I'll put things for my health, my family, all of them, so that they get in the calendar so that you don't feel depreciated and empty at the end of the week. So action step for you. I want you to solidify a time every day to work on and activate the inner you and these goals, right? So now that we're establishing what you want, why you want it, how you're going to get there, who's going to help you, what you need to say no thank you to, well, now we need to carve out the time to make it happen, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to first make a list of all your hows. So you're going to go back to the what, the why, the how, and you're going to take that list and be like, okay, in order for me to achieve these things, these are all the things I got to get done. I got to go to the gym 4 times a week. I have to make sure I do A, B, C, and D for the business. These are my hows, right? That are going to help you get to the what. Now you're going to take those hows and you're going to plug and play them into your calendar for the week. You're going to plug them into where you want to be. One of my goals for this year is to warm up my voice a little bit more and to get back to singing. Some of you may know that one of my first careers, I was a performer. I toured around the world internationally. Well, I haven't sang in about 3-4 years, but music is the core of who I am. So I made a goal this year that I want to warm up my voice at least 2 times a week. And then for my birthday in August, I'm going to do a show. I'm going to invite friends into like a little restaurant, and I'm going to do a 30-minute show where I'm going to sing. And I haven't sang in like 4 or 5 years, right? So, but that means that every week I have carved out time to warm up my voice and practice, okay? And then add them into your weekly planner. Now we're going to go on to our final step. The most important, crush your limiting beliefs. So if you're familiar with me, you've probably heard this before, because your beliefs dictate your behaviors. And I wrote an entire book on this. You can see it back here on the shelf. Your beliefs dictate your behaviors, okay? So we can know what we want. We could even create a plan for what we want. But if this gets in the way, it's going to sabotage everything that you've set up. I'm going to say that again. It's going to sabotage everything that you have set up. We asked 2,000 professionals a year ago what their number one challenge was. 83% said self-confidence. Self-confidence determines your success. Because when those thoughts come into your mind that tell you, I'm not motivated, this happened to me today, so therefore I can't do this, it impacts your ability to take action. Now, it's not your fault. And I talk about this all the time. It's not your fault. Okay, because we have been taught as a society to build what I call micro confidence, which means that you feel confident in a category, a competency, or a thing. I'm confident as a speaker. Okay, right now I'm speaking to you on camera. I'm not nervous. I'm not worried about anything because I'm confident in this skill. Some of you might be confident in coding. You might be confident in mortgage. You might be confident in your business, whatever it is. Okay. But we didn't teach you as a society, and that's why I built Rise Up For You, is how to be confident as a human. Has anyone ever learned emotional intelligence, confidence, leadership, how to feel great in your own skin when you were in school? All those human skills, did you take a class on them? Probably not. Probably not until now as an adult, right? But now all of these different beliefs that are holding you back have been built up, and we're not quite sure how to break them down. Okay, so micro confidence is not sustainable, because micro confidence means that you've built your confidence and your self-worth out of things that exist outside of you. And that's a dangerous game, because anything that exists outside of you inevitably can and will change. And this is what we saw when the pandemic happened. And I really hope we don't see this with the inflation, but we most probably will, according to patterns. When tragedy happens, people lose their job, they lose income, they lose their titles, sometimes we lose possessions, and people come to us and say, who am I? What's my worth? I don't know who I am anymore. My value, my identity was tied to these things, the micro confidence. Okay, that's going to get you nowhere. What we need is the macro confidence, an inner belief that you are enough, period. An inner belief that perfection creates prevention and procrastination, and that by nature, human beings are imperfect, and that's perfect in itself. An inner belief that failure leads to success. Failure is research to success. An inner belief that you can learn. An inner belief that even if you don't have the skills, you can figure it out. I always say live in the comma. Right? So instead of I can't, period, it's I can't, comma, but I'll figure it out. I can't, comma, but I'll do some research. I can't, comma, but I'll get some mentorship. Okay. And that's really critical for you to make this your best year yet. Because I will tell you, for most of us that are here and for most of the population, it's not that we don't have the technical skills to take action and to achieve our goals. It's because we let this thing up here get in the way of moving forward and taking action. And that is the biggest thing that we see around the world. So I want you to ask yourself, what are some of those beliefs that are hindering you from moving forward, right? And it might not creep up on you right now. You might be like ready to go and you feel strong. And then in a month from now, you get a no. Then all of a sudden that belief comes into your mind that says, maybe I'm not good enough to build this business, right? Or the leader in your company that you want to grow with says, not right now. And then your mind goes, maybe I just don't deserve it. Maybe I'm not enough. All these things start to come in your mind that impact your ability to continue to take action. One of the things that I saw in the chat that I often see is, I just don't follow through. I'm just not motivated. The question is why? Remember, beliefs drive behaviors, okay? So if we're not taking action on our goals, that's a behavior. So not being motivated, not following through, not taking action is a behavior. What we need to understand so that you can have your best year yet is, why are we not taking the action? Why is this behavior occurring? It's not because you're lazy. I hear this all the time on social media. Lazy people. No. Okay, let's debunk that right now. Usually when somebody doesn't take action on their goals or their achievements, right, and another year goes by, 2 years go by, nothing's been done, it's not because you're lazy, right? It's because there's resistance there. There's resistance there that's preventing you from doing what you got to do so that you can move forward. And we need to understand what that belief and what that system is. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you a minute here. Reverse engineering the 4 B's. This is the most critical methodology you're going to get that I created to help you get out of your own way. So I want you to ask yourself right now, just write this down. You could even put it in the chat. This is a safe space, right? This is a safe space. By the way, everybody that showed up here at 9 o'clock is still here. That's great. You know what that tells me? That tells me that this information is important for you, right? If the numbers are going down, then that means that, oh, okay, maybe this isn't important. But I know that this is important for people because people want to make an impact. You want to make an impact. You want to influence yourself and you want to influence the world, right? That means you got big goals for yourself. And I love that, right? You're going to have your best year yet. I'm manifesting it for me and I'm manifesting it for you. But I want you to ask yourself, what's one belief right now that's getting in the way of your success? Just one limiting belief that's getting in the way of your success. I want you to write it down. Then I want you to ask yourself, what's the backstory of the belief? You see, every belief comes from someone or something, some experience, okay? It could come from your childhood, family. It could come from social media. It could come from your culture and society. It could come from your loved ones, your workplace, your leaders, okay? Your backstory around the belief, okay? Now, think about this. How many of you have children or were a child at one point? Trick question. All of us, right? When you're a child and a baby is born, they're unstoppable. There's nothing they can't achieve in their mind. All the goals, everything that they want, they just go for it. They jump off the couch, they touch, they do whatever they want. And then as they get older, parents, teachers, society, other people say, nope, you can't do that. Who said you're good enough for that? What makes you think you can achieve that? And before you know it, all of these experiences and all these beliefs from other people, they start to infiltrate our mind. And then as we get older, somebody says something similar, and then it reinforces it. Well, maybe I'm not enough. You're the third person that's put me down. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe I'm not motivated. Maybe I don't matter in this world. Maybe I don't add value. And then before you know it, you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, 70 years old, and you're hindering your success because of these beliefs that don't belong to you. They were projected and put on you by somebody else, are sabotaging your ability to move forward. Think about it, right? I gave you the 2 C's already, and I gave you 6 steps. What, why, how, who, no, thank you. And then I gave you the strategy to implement the actions, right? Okay, I gave you how to make it happen. You have all the tools you need to go out there and crush it. But the big question is are you going to get in your own way, or are you going to break through some of these beliefs so that you can take the action and have your best year yet? Okay, so that's the backstory. Then we have the B, which is the behavior. How is this belief driving the behavior? So for example, I saw in the chat, no, I just don't follow up, or I'm not motivated. That's the behavior. So the behavior is that I lose motivation and then I don't do anything. That's the behavior. What's the belief that's tied to that behavior? And then number 4 is the breaking. How do we break this belief that doesn't belong to you, that's not serving you? How do we have a breakthrough and go from the breaking to the awakening? So that you can, I'll tell you what, when I was first building my business, not easy. Okay, $100 from scratch, no business degree. I had no idea about this industry that I'm in right now. Like, I didn't even know who Tony Robbins was, right? Those of us that understand the personal professional development space, like he's kind of a big deal. No idea. I just kept implementing these strategies. But I had a friend of mine call me on the phone. What are you doing building a business? Go back to performing. Go back to being a professor. Go back to being an executive. You have no business building a business. That was a belief, not mine. And I remember saying to them, I love you so much. I'm going to hang up the phone right now because that's not my belief. That's your belief. And I can't let that get in my head. I cannot let that get in my head, because if I do, guess what? It's going to impact my ability to keep building my business. And I hung up the phone. And remember what I said earlier, I kept my distance from that person. So I was like, nope, can't let that energy in my space as I'm trying to achieve my goals, making this the best year yet. And today they love our work and they follow me on social media and they're constantly joining and and we love them. And we have a great relationship and we talk about it all the time. But you gotta move past those beliefs. Clarify, create, crush. That's how we're going to get to success. Now, I always say, and for those of you, again, that are familiar, the greatest tragedy is wasted human potential. You do not need to let that be your story. You don't need to let that be your story. What you need is clarity in life. You need the action steps and the right strategies to help you get there. And then you need those human skills, the confidence, the emotional intelligence, the presence, all of those things that are going to help catapult you to take action. So you guys have been awesome. You've been here this entire time. We want to continue to keep supporting you because that's what this is all about. And we know it doesn't stop here. I wish I could create the transformation in the world that I needed to create in 45 minutes. But it just doesn't work that way. And research shows that we need sustainable growth in order to create the transformation. So my team and I are very, very proud because we've worked very, very hard on our growth membership, an all-in-one platform that's going to give you everything you need to continue to take action and be successful, everything you need. And I would love to share it with you because this can really help you for sure have your best year yet. So when you join our growth membership, you get life-changing courses on demand. That means you can watch them anytime. You can listen to them in the car. You can watch them at home, even with your kids. They're very kid-friendly. And actually, I recommend it because kids need a lot of these skills as well. Okay, anytime you can watch them, you get entire access to our confidence course. 13 videos on perfectionist mindset, breaking imposter syndrome, feeling enough. Everything that I talked about today with confidence, times that by 13. You get the entire course on it and the entire workbook. You get full access to our public speaking and presence course. For some of you, that might be a goal, right? Get out there and speak more. Promote my business, be able to speak in a meeting when I'm in, the corporate workspace, whatever it is. The entire course, 13 videos, and all the workbooks done by myself. I'm a 2-time TEDx speaker and I'm an international keynote speaker. And I break down for you all the different strategies, even how to write a talk if that's something that you're interested in. You get full access to the emotional intelligence course, the #1 training we do around the world, because emotional intelligence, many people don't know, it embodies motivation, how to motivate yourself. It embodies integrity, values, growth mindset, self-confidence, accurate self-assessment, how to coach yourself, how to coach other people, how to build relationships. There's 18 competencies that fall under emotional intelligence that are the game changer for every individual and company. #1 training we do. You get the entire course of that. On top of that, you get access to all of our leadership courses. We have women's in leadership and we have a leadership course, 2 different ones, right? You get access to both of them. You get access to the Become Your Best course, the 6 pillars to success that I talked to you about, how to manage your time, how to create a positive routine. You get access to all of it and all the workbooks. Over 100 videos and workbooks on demand that you can download and watch at any time. You get access to all of it. On top of it, you get access to live training sessions like this with our team. Okay, so our members actually get like exclusive live trainings, right? Where it's just the members. I believe next month in February, we're doing motivation, how to motivate yourself and take action so that you don't get stuck, right? That's special for members. So every single month, my team and I are going to go live separately and members get access to that. On success, personal branding, leadership. These are just some of our amazing coaches and trainers. They're so cool. We're very diverse in every single way and we're a lot of fun. So you get access to our team privately and you also get to ask questions for coaching because that's important. You get a free coaching session. No better way to create transformation than free one-to-one coaching. So you get one-to-one coaching where you show up on video with one of our coaches and we customize whatever you need support on. Whatever your challenge is, we're going to help you. Okay. And you get a ton more bonuses. So the value is $14.99 for that, $18,000 to do. We charge $3,000 every time we go live, right? With a company or a training. On top of that, you get a $250 value in coaching, right? For one coaching session. The total value is almost $20,000. That'd be crazy if I offered that to you, right? Because that's not sustainable. And we want to serve as many people as we can. So if you go online right now, it's $299 for all of these amazing benefits for the membership for the year. Because remember, I said that you showed up and you stayed. For those of you that stayed and showed up, I'm going to give you an additional $100 off for the year. So now the entire year, you get access to all of that. You get access to lives for the entire year. You get access to answer questions, ask questions. You get access to coaching and more benefits that we have. We have monthly challenges, all kinds of stuff for only $199 for the whole year. Okay, that's a steal. And you can get in there and grow yourself, ask questions, and be the best that you can be so that you can have your best year yet. So this is just an example of what you're going to get into when you sign up. And that's our special link. And that is the QR code for you to join today. Now, this is only good for the next few days. Again, you won't find this link or this page anywhere on the website. If you go to our website, Rise It For You, you're going to see that it's $299. So scan that QR code, grab that link. We have our team member in the chat as well. He'll put it in the chat for you. We want to make sure that you can access this membership. Again, $199 for the entire year so that you can make this your best year yet. And I really encourage, like right when you sign up, you're going to get access to the portal and you're going to see all of our lives. And so I always encourage everyone, once you sign up for the membership, right away, put those lives in your calendar. Add them to your calendar because that's the sweet spot, right? Is you get to talk to myself, to Lauren, to George, to Frank, to Tammy, all of us when we come in and we do our live sessions for just our members alone. So get signed up. This special is only good for the next few days. We close the cart on Friday night. So we want to get you in there now. All right. I'm going to open it up to some Q&A because I know that this is the most important part for many of us. And Sam will continue to put the link in the chat for those of you that are interested, and we would love to see you there. Okay, so what do we got here? Thank you so much. You bought the membership last week. I love that. I love to see this. Does this membership provide tangible notebooks? Yes, you can absolutely so Dawn, here's what I love to do. The membership has workbooks that you can print, you can download, and then you can also print them. So like I have a notebook over here. I'll actually just show you because I'm here. I have a notebook like this, and I will print the workbooks and I'll 3-hole punch them and I'll put them in there, and then I can, write. And I like to write. I believe you can also use platforms to type in the ebooks as well. But for me, I like to print them and write them. So yes, they do have that. Also bought the membership. Oh, very cool. Love that. Yes, Dawn, you're a writer. I see that. All right. What kind of questions do we have? We have a little bit of time left. I want to honor you, but I do want to get into some of this coaching, and I want to get some questions. I have no confidence in myself, and I do feel like I'm failing. What can I do? I love that question. And you're not alone. And first off, thank you so much for being brave enough to ask that question. Remember what I said earlier. I'm not sure if if you were here. 83% of individuals struggle with self-confidence. It's the number one challenge, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that people around the world don't feel enough. We're failing as a society if that's the case, and that is the case. So what can you do? The 4 B's that I gave: the belief, the behavior, the backstory, the breaking. We need to jump into that. We need to jump into that because that's what's going to help you. And that takes a lot of work. So one thing that I do, Eric, is if I have a belief that comes into my, first off, everyone has negative beliefs. Everybody. Okay. I don't care if you're Tony Robbins, Oprah, me, we all have negative beliefs. Neuroscientists tell us we have 12,000 thoughts a day. 80% of those thoughts are negative. 80%. Okay. So it's not to like get rid of negative thoughts. It's not even to break self-doubt. It's to manage the negative thoughts and self-manage the self-doubt so that it doesn't sabotage you. Okay. So when a belief comes into your mind, the first thing I would do is write it down. And I want you to ask yourself, where does that belief come from? And here's the thing, most of our limiting beliefs, they come from people. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let somebody sabotage my success forward, right? And excuse my language for saying that, but I often think, I have a belief and I realize that this belief is tied to this experience or this person. And right away, I'm like, oh no. I cannot allow this person to have full power over me 10 years later. I just will not, that's just a non-negotiable for me. So sometimes just the act of catching the thought and then writing down where it came from, and sometimes you'll find it right away. Sometimes it takes a couple weeks, sometimes it takes a month. Sometimes just writing it down helps you identify where it came from. And that in itself is very empowering. And the more you do that, the more self-aware you become. And also self-compassion, Eric. A lot of times we don't have confidence in ourselves because we have unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic that like not even artificial intelligence has. You know what I mean? Like we expect like this perfect being to exist. And when we make a mistake or when we don't do something right, we beat ourselves up over it, right? And it's getting comfortable with making mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. I'm not speaking on script right now. So, okay, so just so that everybody knows, I don't have a script in front of me. The last 54 minutes, I've just been talking out of my head, right? Just because of my expertise. Now, I'm going to watch this back and there's probably going to be 1 or 2 points that I missed that I'm like, oh, dang it. Like I forgot to say that, or I could have done this a little bit better. That doesn't matter. And I don't care about that. It's okay if I make a mistake. What I care about is that I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm going to give you everything I have. I'm going to share as much as I can. Okay. And that's what matters to me. And we as human beings need to have more self-compassion in that regard. Did you put your best foot forward? Have you given everything you had? And did you fall short? Awesome. Scientists fail their entire life. Entire life scientists fail. Maybe once in their life do they find an algorithm or a system or a strategy that works. Maybe once. But they keep going. And thank God for that, because we need scientists. So I hope that helps, Eric, but that 4 Bs is really, really important. I saw in the chat about the contract for the membership. Every year it renews. Okay, so you can go through the year and then next year it'll renew. And if you don't want it to renew, then you can just stop it. But when you sign up today, you're good for an entire year. You don't have to worry about it for the next 12 months. And then as we get closer, it'll let you know, hey, your membership's going to renew. And then at that time, you can decide if you want to renew. You always get the $199 price though. Okay, that's a great point I forgot to mention. So this price point locks you in. So even next year when we're in demand, I'm manifesting that we're going to continue to grow. If I decide that the membership is $499 a year, you always get the $199 price. So you're going to want to get in now for sure. Couple thing that I didn't tell you that actually is really important. We are SHRM certified. So if anyone is familiar with SHRM, it's the Society for Human Resources Management. It's the largest company or globally on human resources. All of our content is SHRM certified. That means you can actually get PDCs for joining the membership and for joining the live. Okay, so every time you join live, you get 1 PDC per hour, right? So that's 12 PDCs right off the bat you get for the year. Our courses are anywhere between 8 to 12 PDCs each. So that means that if you complete all of your courses, then you get all those PDCs that you can send back and give to HR. Sometimes, especially in school systems, like there's a certain number of PDCs that you have to hit a year. They all count towards it. Okay. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Becky. Thank you everybody for joining. You've been fantastic. Don't forget to jump in that membership, $199 special rate for you for the entire year, even after every year after that. And I wish you the best year yet. I'm manifesting it for me. I'm manifesting it for Rise Up for you, and I'm manifesting it for you. Talk to you later.